So what have we learned? Tonalists and colorists use temperature differently. Tonalists use mostly warm colors for the cast shadows and shadow sides of objects. Colorists use observed color, derived from the color of the light illuminating every part of the composition. If you are a tonalist, like Rembrandt, Rubens, Raphael, Leonardo da Vinci, Velázquez, and others, a uniform, warm, dark tone will provide all you need to paint shadows and shadow sides. If, however, you are a colorist, then your task is more challenging. You must recall and use the following concepts. The color and temperature of the light values in a painting are determined by the color and temperature of the light source. Warm light produces warm colors on the light-struck sides of objects. Cool light produces cool colors on the light sides. The temperature of cast shadows is opposite that of the light source. That is, warm light produces relatively cool cast shadows. Cool light produces relatively warm cast shadows. The temperature of open shadows is universally warm. The temperature of form shadows tends to be warm. The landscape has two light sources. One is warm and the other is cool. Forms in the landscape take their temperature from the source of light illuminating them. Colors in the landscape vary according to time of day and atmospheric conditions. Color on the light-struck planes in the still life and portrait depend on the color of the light. As with the landscape, the temperature of the light-struck planes follows the temperature of the direct light source in the studio. Color and temperature of the shadow sides and cast shadows in the still life and portrait depend on the color of surrounding objects and ambient secondary light sources. Unlike the landscape, the ambient or secondary light in the studio tends to be warm, so all shadows, shadow sides, cast shadows, and form shadows seen indoors tend toward the warm side of the spectrum. I hope you've enjoyed this program and now better understand the relationships between light and shadow and temperature, and that you'll approach your next painting subjects with a more critical eye to exactly what temperature you're observing on the model, in the setup, or in the landscape. Ultimately, if you can correctly identify the temperature relationships, you'll be freed from wondering which colors to use in any given area. Specific color is much less important than temperature shifts. This will allow you to use any color scheme you wish to paint a scene, and still have it be believable by the viewers. Accurately painting the local color of something is not what makes a painting truthful. It's the observation of the temperature relationships that exist, along with the value relationships. As long as you recognize and use these basic elements, your paintings will take on a new authority and credibility. If you've collected all the programs in this series, you should be able to approach your canvas with a new confidence and express your own visions in paint more successfully. Join me for future programs designed to build on this foundation by exploring more of the challenges we face as artists. Until then, practice painting.